Alright folks, so I really only want to film the intro part once, so I'm going to use some placeholders for the hosting service names. So today we're going to walk through hosting your site on, and this method has a difficulty rating of, so this is one of the 3 hosting solutions that I describe on the public library documentation. I only chose 3 because it takes a lot of time to lay out all the documentation, but I think these options should give you enough choice when trying to decide between complexity and cost, and hopefully watching any of these videos should kind of illuminate how other platforms work as well. I'm going to walk through this process step by step and also use the public library documentation as a guide so you know how to navigate it later. I'll also do a brief explanation of what web hosting is in case you're unfamiliar with the topic. So hopefully by the end of this you have a really clear image of how this all works. So without further ado, let's get started and understand what web hosting is. I'm going to talk about it for just a little bit so we have a really solid foundation to work off of. So here's a very basic diagram that shows how web hosting works. I've broken it into these 4 pieces and I'm going to explain each piece one by one. So first things first is our website. So it's very important to understand that websites are made of files. It's just a collection of files. And if you recall in our example, when we built our website, when we ran the faircamp build command, it spit out this folder that is filled with these files. So this probably looks familiar if you've ever clicked on the inspect element button on your web browser. But this, alongside of all these other things, basically tell the website how to look and what to do. You can dig into it if you like, but you don't necessarily need to understand it in order to host it. So we take our files and then we store them somewhere. Our storage can be anything. Without explicitly describing what it is, you can just imagine it as a bucket that you place your files into, and they are available publicly online. It's very similar to how when you upload something to Google Drive, you can point a link to it and people can access it. Websites are very similar to this. However, because it's not Google Drive, we actually have to customize it a little bit further. So we have this part, which is the quote-unquote server. When someone types an address into their search bar, there needs to be a translator in the middle that basically informs the web browser where to look for the files. This description is very abstract, but as we walk through the hosting solution, it will begin to make more sense how these pieces all work together. So we're going to be looking at Neocities. If you go to the public library documentation at docs.whereditgo.diamonds, you can click on the hosting section here and then click on the Neocities page. And this will describe how to host your website on Neocities. So the first thing you have to do is make an account on Neocities. So there's a link here. You can click on the Neocities website. And let's see. I was already logged in, but if you go to Neocities, you'll see that there's a sign up field. So fill this out, make an account. Once you make an account, it'll bring you to your dashboard here, where you can start to edit your site. You'll actually have to upgrade to the supporter tier for Neocities in order to upload zip files. There's probably a button here. I've already subscribed to it, but if you go to your settings and you go to the supporter tab, you'll be able to see probably the screen here that allows you to sign up. It's not totally necessary to have the supporter tier in order to host a website in general, but if you plan to use faircamp, which requires you to upload zip files, then you'll have to have this supporter tier. So once you've created your account and subscribed to the supporter tier, we can go on to the next step. So now we'll customize our site. If you go up to the edit site button, you'll be brought to your browser here, which allows you to upload files. So we're going to upload the site contents. So if we go back to our example and click reveal in Finder, I can see all my website files here. I'm just going to click and drag all of these into Neocities, and it will upload. So once you've uploaded your files here, that's actually all there is to it. You can click on this link here and go to your live website and go and check out how it looks. And you can see that your website URL here, in my case, it's incognitothief.neocities.org. You can send this to whoever you want, and they'll be able to come and check out your music library. So that was super easy. Neocities is the easiest solution on the documentation page, but it also costs the most, which is $5 a month. There are some other solutions that I described, which I highly recommend trying out. Backblaze in particular is the most complex solution to set up, but if you do it, it costs literally less than $1 a month. So it's incredibly cheap to host. Otherwise, Neocities works just fine. All you have to do is click and drag it in, and anytime you want to update your website, it's just right there. So hopefully that was easy to understand and follow. If you have any questions, feel free to hit the support email below. And yeah, stay tuned for more updates.